Congratulations, Mitch. I knew him when he was 15. 30 years ago, Chad Seymour was the assistant professional at a club in southwestern Ohio that had 265 members. He moved to the Westfield Country Club at that time, which is a 36-hole facility, 600 members, employee members, outside members, over 100 corporate events per year, and a major supporter of local events such as the Ohio Open, the Akron Open, the PGA Junior National Championship, the Junior Ryder Cup. It was a heck of a change from southwestern Ohio to northeastern Ohio. Chad was an excellent player when he got to Westfield, but he made the obvious decision he had to make to become a very strong supporter of the facility here and to take care of his members, the corporation, and everybody else who was involved in the operation. His lovely wife, Mindy, to whom he's been married 34 years, has been a terrific support for him and a helpmate through all these years. I met Chad soon after he arrived, and at that time we had just started a men's Bible study. I invited Chad to come 3 times. With a great deal of trepidation, he agreed, and he's been attending and leading men's Bible studies for the last 30 years. I'm not exactly sure what got him interested, but I think he believed the Apostle Paul was a golfer. If you look in the book of Romans, in the 7th chapter, there's a verse that says, "For that which I am doing, I do not understand. For I am not practicing what I would like to do, but I'm doing the very thing I hate." Chad might have been onto something. Over the years, Chad has been a very, very hard worker. He's been an outstanding representative of the Westfield companies. As you folks know, he's worked in many different areas of your organization with great effectiveness. He's been a terrific head professional for Westfield. He's been a loving and supportive husband of Mindy, a great role model for his 2 kids, and he's been a great representative of Christ. Chad is a man you can trust and a man of outstanding integrity. In reflecting on my relationship with Chad, I might sum it up with this observation. He has not only made me a better golfer, I think he's made me a better person. It gives me more pleasure than you can imagine to introduce my friend, my golf pro, and my brother in Christ, Chad Seymour.
So now I'm going to try to compose myself and talk to you all. Nominations Committee, thank you very much for the nomination and the selection into the Hall of Fame. An honor that I can't imagine. So many years ago, coming through the high school ranks and playing high school golf and playing at Wittenberg, and Tom and I were talking earlier that the only national championship I was able to play in college was about an hour and a half away from Springfield in Columbus, Ohio at Apple Valley, and it rained the entire time. It never stopped raining. The year before, the trip went to Arizona, and the year after was down in Florida, so I got to go all the way 90 minutes away and play in the rain. So, congratulations, Mitch! Just an awesome accomplishment, and welcome you into the committee into the Hall of Fame as well. Thanks to Bob Bardo for the nomination. His friendship over the last several years has been wonderful. We got a group of guys sitting back in that back left-hand corner, and I love them to death. It's just a blast to play with these guys on the couple occasions we get to play together in the summertime, and we just thank you. I just thank you for the friendship. You know, this room is full of friends. We've been coming down here to Westfield for so long, and I've stood up in front of you guys for the last 8 years or more as an officer of the Northern Ohio PGA, and I consider every one of you my friends. I've got a lot of mentors, a lot of guys that are here today, Bill Riley and Judd Stevenson and Charlie and Joe Flog and Mike Heisterkamp and Dominic, unbelievable, Ronnie DiGiacomo and Jim Lowe. Jim's not here today, but Jim and I got into a lively discussion just last week about aerification and whether greens should be aerified around Labor Day or whether they ought to be aerified later on in the year. So Jim and I talked a lot about things like that. And I just encourage all of our members here today to certainly seek out friends and seek out the advice. And we may sit back and say, you know, I got it under control, I got it right where I want it, but it certainly would be easier to do with a couple good friends and a couple good mentors out there. I've got a special thanks to Joe Krug. Many of you may or may not know Joe Krug. Joe was the head golf professional at Northwood Hills down in southern Ohio. And my wife and I were, I'll never forget this, she and I were walking along going to the grocery store. I'm not sure we wanted to spend the gas to get there, but we walked about the 4 or 5 blocks to get down to the grocery store, and while we're walking, and I'm still in college, and we're saying, you know, what is it that I want to do with my life? And she says, well, we always like this golf thing. Why don't you give that a crack? And so my dad, who's here with me today, was a member at Northwood Hills. And so I called up the golf pro and said, hey, Joe, you know, I worked for you for several years back in the bag room. I used to pick your driving range. I used to wash clubs. I used to do all that. What do you think about hiring me as the assistant golf professional? And he says, well, it's just your lucky day. He says, I'm looking for an assistant pro right here at Northwood Hills. And so I stepped right into that position and was thankful that I was able to stay with him for about 6 years, and got my PGA membership with Joe, and have not looked past or looked back on you know, the decision as to whether I should be a golf professional or not. There was a time when Mindy and I, my dad hadn't even heard this story. I was surprised at this, but we were talking earlier over the weekend. My dad's in from Connecticut, by the way. Drove all the way out here from Connecticut. That's how important this honor is. But my dad and I were talking about an opportunity that I had. I'm very grateful to Westfield and everything that they have done for me. You know, I was close to being the guy who was going to be the runner-up to the tequila worm contest guy. So I'm very fortunate to have Westfield and all of the support that they have shown to me. To be at one facility for over 29 years, it's just wonderful to have this place that I can call home. Mindy and I have been talking about retirement and where would we go to retire. We've looked at Tennessee, we've looked at South Carolina, we've looked at Florida, and we said, you know what? Why in the world would we want to leave our friends, our country club, and our church to go south for 2 months for weather we don't like? So we call this home. This is our home. And thank you to Westfield and all of our wonderful staff. Mark Jordan is here, our green superintendent, Mark Farrell, and Carrie Blair for giving us the opportunity to be able to create a national championship and the National Junior PGA Championship, and then be able to also bring in the Junior Ryder Cup. So it's been a wonderful ride. We enjoyed having the Ohio Cup here this year, and we'll enjoy it next year as well. And we just thank all of my staff members that have come through the years and for all of their support. I thank you very much. Thank you to the Hall of Fame committee for the nomination and to the election. Thank you.